Ever since ChatGPT just, exploded onto the scene, the world of education has been completely turned upside down. So today, we're going to dive into a really big question, one that every student and every professor is asking right now. What is the point of an exam when an AI can write an essay that's, frankly, better than what most of us can?
Okay, so first things first, let's get one thing straight. AI in education, this isn't some far-off sci-fi future. It is happening right now. A recent survey of UK undergrads found that a staggering 92% are already using AI in some way. So yeah, it's not the exception anymore, it's the norm. And listen, this isn't some slow, gradual change. The use of generative AI for coursework has absolutely exploded. I mean, just look at this chart. The jump is massive, and in just 1 year. And this is putting a ton of pressure on our traditional ways of testing. And this right here, this really gets to the core of the whole issue. The traditional essay was supposed to be a window into a student's mind, right? A way to see how they think, how they put ideas together. But now, in the age of AI, that window might just be reflecting the output of a machine. And that shift, it completely undermines how we've measured learning for decades. And it's so important to understand that this goes way deeper than just, catching cheaters. The real problem AI brings to the table is for the very process of learning itself. This iceberg visual, it's perfect. It really captures the hidden costs of leaning too heavily on AI. What we see on the surface, the cheating, that's just the tip. But underneath, there are these much deeper problems. We're talking about the risk of superficial learning, where students can just grab an answer without the struggle that actually helps them learn. We lose those crucial opportunities for self-reflection. And honestly, we could end up creating a generation of passive tech users instead of active critical thinkers. Oh, and to make matters worse, those fancy AI detection tools? Yeah, they're pretty much unreliable.
So it's a pretty bleak picture, isn't it? If the old ways of testing are basically broken, what do? What's the solution? Well, fortunately, researchers are coming up with some really fascinating new ideas.
All right, so what's the first potential solution on the table? It's a pretty radical shift. What if we stop thinking of assessment as a static thing, like a paper, and start treating it like a dynamic conversation? This quote right here says it all. Writing is thinking. I mean, the actual process of writing something, it's messy, it's not linear, and it forces you to wrestle with ideas, think critically, and solve problems. When an AI just does that for you, the student misses out on all that crucial mental heavy lifting. So the idea is to bring back a classic, almost ancient method, conversation-based assessment. I want you to think of the Socratic method, from ancient Greece. It's this disciplined dialogue where students are challenged to really work through complex ideas and question their own assumptions. It's not about what you wrote. It's about proving you understand by talking it all through. And this is where AI could actually be a total game changer, but for the better. See, old chatbot systems were, let's be honest, pretty clunky. But a modern AI, it can carry on a truly open-ended conversation. It can adapt to the student's level in real time, and it can even give personalized hints when they get stuck. The AI literally becomes a personal tutor that assesses you as you learn. Now, of course, this isn't some magic bullet. There are some very real challenges. Like, how do you balance that open exploration with the need for a structured, fair assessment? What about the risk of the AI just getting something wrong or giving bad info? And the big one, how do you standardize a test this personal for something as high stakes as university admissions? These are tough questions we absolutely still need to answer. Okay, that brings us to the second big idea. And this one tackles another core problem with our system, our obsession with single high-stakes events like the final exam. This quote really just cuts right to the chase, doesn't it? High-stakes exams create a ton of stress and, let's be real, a huge incentive to cheat, which AI only makes easier. So maybe the real solution isn't just to change the exam itself, but to reduce how much it matters in the first place. And this table here just makes the comparison crystal clear. Think about it. In a continuous model with lots of small, low-stakes assessments, student stress plummets. The incentive to cheat? It practically disappears. And from a psychological standpoint, this approach is way better for learning too. It encourages practicing over time instead of last-minute cramming. So instead of one stressful snapshot of what a student knows, you get this rich, holistic picture of their entire learning journey. But there's a pretty big technical barrier here. The AI tools we all know, like ChatGPT, they just aren't built for this. They don't have a memory of a student's progress over a semester. They can't spot a misunderstanding that keeps popping up over multiple conversations. We're going to need new, specialized AI platforms built specifically for learning to make this work.
And that brings us to our third solution, which honestly might be the most profound of all. It suggests we need to shift our focus entirely towards the skills that AI simply can't replicate. In an age where AI can handle all the routine stuff, these are the skills that become our superpower. We're talking about real, higher-order creativity, deep collaboration with other people, nuanced empathy, and the ability to tackle messy, real-world problems. The whole point of university should be to grow these uniquely human abilities. So this means we have to teach students to use AI as a powerful partner, not a crutch or a replacement. Imagine a project where students use an AI to brainstorm ideas and analyze a bunch of data. But then it's up to them, the humans, to collaborate, to think critically, and to create the final solution. Now that is a skill for the future. So, okay, taking all these ideas and putting them into practice, that's a huge shift for any institution. How do we actually build a university that's ready for this new reality? The path forward really seems to boil down to 3 key steps. First, we have to get serious about strengthening AI literacy for everyone, students and educators. Second, universities need to develop clear, responsible policies about how these tools can and should be used. And third, and this might be the most important part, we need to build a culture of thoughtful integration instead of just trying to ban AI or, letting it run wild. Ultimately, this whole debate forces us to go back to a really fundamental question about what education is even for. Is the goal just to prove what you know, to prove what you can remember for a test? Or is it to become a better thinker, a better reasoner, a better creator? Because in the age of AI, the answer to that question has never, ever been more important.